ish. Number 4, Germany lost territory that became Poland. Okay. If you have France, it becomes part of. Yes. Parts of multiple countries, but Poland in particular is what you mean. Number 5, Austria-Hungary became Austria and Hungary, Czechoslovakia,
and like a few Balkan nations.
Yes. Yes. Their empire is broken up, I think, into 7 or 9 countries.
Yeah.
But make sure you know it's Austria separate from Hungary, and that Czechoslovakia is created as well.
How do we spell that?
It's like CZEHOSLOVAKIA.
Okay, yeah, oh, but all of it.
No, yeah. CZECHO Slovakia, KIA. I believe you know. Number 6, why did the League of Nations fail, and what did this failure lead to?
The lack of world power.
Well, and really, because who doesn't join? The United States, the world power at the time, we're the biggest industrial power, the biggest military power. We're like, we're going to be neutral. Okay, and it leads to what?
World War II.
World War II. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Fantastic. Yay, 20s notes. While you're getting these out, what do we know about the 20s? It was roaring. What did you say?
Spanish flu.
Diseases.
Yes, you do have the Spanish flu, which really started about 1917. What else?
Flappers.
Yay, the flappers flapping around. Okay, challenging traditional roles for women. What else do we know? Yeah, for cars, it's getting young people out of their parents' houses. They can go have this like sexual revolution. It's crazy. Okay. What else?
The Great Depression.
Well, not yet. Not yet. Okay. No, not yet. We'll do that tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, so we are rocking and rolling today. I'm going to give you the political stuff because Wednesday, y'all are giving me all the cultural stuff about women and advertising, the jazz age, all that stuff on Wednesday. Okay. And you're going to have time today to work on that and time on Tuesday to work on it. The goal of project time is to work on the project. The goal of that is not to work at home on the project because what do you have for homework already? EQJ, which I don't think the EQJ is like this huge major task because you don't have to write as much this time. Just make sure you're getting it done. Your EQJ is due when?
27th.
Next Tuesday, the 27th, which isn't it crazy? Like next week is the last week of October. Like we're almost in November, people. Like, does everybody realize that? Yeah. Anyway, and we have a test next week. Hey, I am really thinking we will have a test on Tuesday. But I am not 100% sure. It might be later, but I'm thinking it's Tuesday. We're going to see how much we get done tomorrow on Great Depression and all that. So it could change. It won't be earlier. But anyway, but yes, everybody feeling okay? I'm also thinking about having like partial multiple choice, partial LEQ, by the way, okay, because I think that y'all do better on the writing when you do the multiple choice. And so I'm thinking about doing that. Just say that. Anyway, I'll let you know for sure probably tomorrow. Okay. Yay, the 20s. Hey, do we know who these people are? Who is this? Babe Ruth. Hey, does anybody not know who Babe Ruth is? Isn't it crazy that like everybody today in 2020 knows who Babe Ruth is? Like that's weird. Like what does he do to make him so well known across time? It's crazy. Who is this guy? He's a beautiful smile. No, this guy.
Oh.
His name is Louis.
Oh,
Louis Armstrong. He's going to be this famous trumpeter. Okay, he's really going to change music forever. Okay, it's going to be pretty awesome. But y'all are going to tell us more about that. These are our 3 presidents of the 20s. Hey, I would write this down. The 20s, okay, is going back to laissez-faire. All right. Hey, what era was all about laissez-faire? Good. Okay. Hey, and then the progressive era is all about regulation, right? Like Sherman Antitrust Act and Clayton Antitrust Act. And the 20s is a reaction to the progressive era. I would write that down. The 20s is a reaction to the progressive era. This is like what type of business coming back? Huh? And here's the deal. Can true monopolies come back? No, but this is big business trying to have a say, okay? Hey, what type of things are big businesses going to want? They want a high what? They want a high tariff, okay? They really want to treat their workers like what? However they want to treat them, okay? Pay them whatever they want to pay them, and that's really what this time period is about. Before we get into that, let's talk about foreign policy, okay? Hey, after World War I, hey, I'm flipping through this stuff like real quick because I think it's pretty easy to understand. We're all about America, okay? He gives this campaign speech. America, safeguard America first, stabilize America first, prosper America first, think of America first. Everything is about America. Everything is about isolationism, supposedly. Here's the deal. Were we really isolated after World War I? Because we love what?
Trade.
There you go. Make sure you know that. All about trade. And if you're all about trade, you have to trade with who? Other countries. And you might trade with more of like your BFFs than your enemies. And who were our enemies at this time? Germany. Who else? Who kind of made us nervous at the time? The Soviet Union. Okay. The Italians are crazy. All right. And we were going to trade with them, but just not as much. Okay. And I'm flipping through some stuff. So, hey, so a couple things are going to set us up to be isolated and also kind of end war. The Washington Naval Conference is going to limit the amount of major ships that we can have, right? Its goal is to avoid an arms race, which is that a good thing? Possibly, okay, because if I get bigger weapons, are you going to want bigger weapons? Yeah, and then I get bigger weapons and bigger, and then it's just scary. We're all like, oh. So what happens is that you have three major powers that have these huge ships. Can y'all see that? Capital ships and aircraft carriers. For some reason, that slide is like weird. I don't really know why. However, because the Britain and the U.S. had more than the only other country that had them, we dismantled some ships so we wouldn't have more than other people. We're like being this moral example to the world that we're not going to participate in an arms race. Hey, does anyone know how much a ship like this, like the USS South Carolina, how much it costs?
A lot.
Like $50 million, okay? And we just took it apart. Can you see the people on there? Like how big this ship is, all right? And like this example to the woman, okay, on, okay? It's great. I gotta keep going, CJ. Here we go. Hey, the Dawes Plan is gonna come in place at this point in time as well. Hey, the same guy that wrote the Dawes Act comes up with the Dawes Plan. Go back in your brain. What was the Dawes Act?
Assimilation.
Yeah, of who? Native Americans. He comes up with this. Hey, remember, after the war, who had to pay all those reparations? Germany. Okay, and they had to pay like $50 billion worth of reparations. And Britain and France are just like laughing evilly in the background, like, because they want Germany to like sink into this hole and never be able to get up again. Like they want them to suffer, okay? Here's the deal. The U.S. knows that if Germany suffers, all right, what is going to happen? Everybody's going to suffer. Make sure you know that, okay? So Germany's sinking into an economic depression, all right? Because we depended on them for trade, and the whole world depended on everybody. Globalization, okay? We couldn't let one country fall, because if one of them falls, everybody else is going to fall, okay? So his plan, Dawes Plan, which he won a Nobel Peace Prize for this, by the way, we're going to give them $2.5 billion in loans, which was nothing compared to the $50 billion that they owed the Allies. But they repaid some of it. They used some of it to actually rebuild their own country. Okay, and then the Allies, Britain and France, owed us some money, and so they're going to pay us back. All right. Hey, did we make any money off of this plan?
Nope.
Did we? Yeah. Like $100 million. Okay. Some. Okay. Is it going to fix Germany?
Nope.
It's not. Okay. And this group, okay, is rising. Okay, the National Socialist Group is rising in Germany. Okay, so who is this group? The National Socialist Group. The Nazis. What is the symbol? The swastika. Originally, this is a Christian symbol that represented peace. Okay, because the goal of the Nazis is to bring peace. Okay, to bring prosperity back to Germany. All right. Hey, after World War I, write this down. Germany had a republic put in place, a democracy. They didn't have any tradition of that, okay? They didn't really understand all of that. So Hitler, who's actually from Austria, all right, is going to gather up some people. He's going to try to overthrow the government, okay? He is arrested, sent to prison for a whole year, okay? While he's there, he's going to write a book called Mein Kampf, My Struggle, okay? And his whole goal of that book is to blame who for all the problems of Germany? The Jews. Okay? He also laid out his final solution in that book, which is to do what to the Jews? Kill them all. All right. So here's the deal. He will be in jail for a year. He will get out of jail. The Dawes Plan does not fix anything in Germany, and they're sinking. They will end up electing Hitler, and he will save their economy like nobody else. Their economy will rebound quicker than any other country in the world. And they have like zero unemployment. It is insane. It's why they're hailing Hitler, while they're goose stepping, while they're like committing these atrocities. Hello, concentration camps. We'll talk about that really soon, okay? And keep in mind, all of this starts in the 1920s, okay? Everybody feel good about that? Yeah. All right. We also started the Kellogg-Briand Pact. We're like, hey, you know what? We're going to outlaw war, all right? No more war. We feel good about this. It has nothing to do with cereal. But we felt good about this, okay? You also are going to see America really struggle with fearing what in America? Communism. And we talked a little bit about this on Friday. Stay with me. Okay, stay with me. Okay? So we're so afraid about what has happened in Russia. Remember, Lenin took over Russia. He made it into what country? USSR, the Soviet Union. Okay, they're communists. Okay, it's promising this equality to his people. And Americans thought this Bolshevik revolution could happen in America. Okay, and so they really thought that if we keep letting Soviets in, if we keep letting people from Germany in, they're going to rise up. They're going to overthrow our government. And so this Red Scare, the first Red Scare, is going to happen right after World War I. Okay, people also thought that if you were a part of a union, hey, write this down. If you're a part of a union and you're striking, that you're causing the disorder, you're causing the riots, you're causing the violence. You could overthrow the government. And so they really thought that labor unions were going to lead to the government being overthrown. Okay? And so people start to really come down on labor unions. All right? Hey, also, this guy, the Attorney General, Mitchell Palmer, starts raiding people's houses, especially if you were German, if you were Russian, and they're going to deport you because they thought you possibly are communist, socialist, anarchist. What's an anarchist? Yes. Okay. No government rule. Okay. So they deport people without having evidence that they actually were a part of any movement. Okay. This Adobe is just insane. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay. When you look at these guys, do they look suspicious? Kinda, but really this is the fashion of the day, like the overcoats and the big hats. It's interesting because are these type of hats popular today? If you go out in public, most people actually don't wear hats. It's very interesting. When you see like baseball caps, or I guess like there are hats coming out for like women. I don't think I could pull those hats off, but that's a different story. But anyway, they're awaiting hearings, okay? But keep in mind, they're against people from Italy, they're against people from Germany, they're against people from Russia. You're going to have some people rise up against this because the deal is America is supposedly like home to all of these immigrants. You know, like bring me your tired, bring me your weak. And really, do you really want those people? I don't know. Okay. Hey, based off of this political cartoon, the U.S. is this policeman, and what is he threatening? Freedom of speech is broken. Okay, the Constitution is ripped up on the floor. Okay, and here's what I want you to write down. Our Attorney General Palmer believed that what was more important than what? The national what? National security is more important than your what? Than your freedoms. Okay? This is another example of something we've already seen. Remember Schenck, he was passing out those anti-draft pamphlets. Did they arrest him? Yes, because national security, more important than your freedoms. Okay? It leads to a lot of nativism in America. What is nativism? You only love the people that are what? Supposedly native, which really, is anybody native to America? Probably the Native Americans, okay? They're going to blame who? Like, who does this political cartoon blame for all the problems in America? Who is it? Well, what people? Immigrants. Okay, all of these immigrants coming in are what's messing up America. But you can see where the major amounts of immigrants are coming in the 1880s. Okay, this is Germany. But look at what happens by the 1900s. You see how little Germany, we're going to allow Germans to come in, and how really World War I is going to change what people groups are allowed in America. Hey, what do we think that immigrants were going to bring to America? Maybe. Okay, they're just this bomb waiting to go off, but they're also undesirable because they were bringing what? Or they're taking what? They're taking jobs. They're bringing a different religion. They look different. Hey, still, who is not wanted in America? Like, based off of this cartoon, who is this? Is it an Italian? Is it a German? No, who is this? Anybody know? Like, if you look at the head as a bomb and like, this is like a ponytail. Who is this? The Chinese are still being excluded. That Gentleman's Act is still in place and still being kept out. Hey, so we set up these quotas. Hey, quota is a limit. All right, we're only going to allow a certain amount of people to come in. We're going to lower that limit over the 20s because of so much nativism. It's this fear that all this European crap is going to get into America. It's going to infiltrate our American ways. And these people are going to take jobs. They're going to change our beliefs. And so people get really scared. So you have less and less and less immigrants coming in, especially from Europe. However, it gets carried away, okay? And so Sacco and Vanzetti are Italian immigrants who are anarchists. So they don't believe in government, okay? They supposedly break into this house, a business, and they rob the business and they kill the owner, okay? There is not one piece of evidence that they broke into the building, that they stole anything, or that they killed the owner. However, they're arrested. They are sentenced to be executed, okay, because they were what? They're anarchists. They're Italians. They're tricky, okay? So you have these people rise up to fight for them. However, it did not prevent their execution. But you can see in it, like how they're honored. So if you were wealthy, after you died, they used to make these masks, like a death mask of you. Well, Sacco and Vanzetti were not wealthy, but people wanted to honor them. So they had this huge funeral procession. They made these death masks. Like, they're death masks of pretty much all of our presidents. Isn't that weird? But really, people wanted freedom of speech, okay? So you had this, and I would write this down, this groups that want freedom of speech, groups that want national security, people that are nativists, but there's always the anti-nativist groups, okay? Not all of America is on board for just killing all the Italians, okay? There was this idea of who will defend America, right? And unfortunately, the KKK will be the largest it will ever be in the 1920s. Hey, remember that movie, okay? Birth of a Nation was about the KKK coming in and saving America. What president loved that movie? Yes, okay. The KKK is a nativist organization, okay? They are going to believe that God, that Jesus has sent them on a mission. They are insane because there is no way that they could be a Christian and do the horrible terrorist actions that they do. The lynchings that they perform, the beatings that they perform, the kidnappings that they perform are not Christian. However, in their twisted view, that's why they're using the cross. The flame represents the Holy Spirit. The cross represents who? Jesus, okay? and they are very twisted. Hey, membership in this second wave is not going to be in the South. Where will the Klan be? Huh? What has happened in World War I? What happened to Black people? What is it called? Great Migration. Okay. And so the peak membership is really going to be in the West, all right, in the Western cities like Chicago, Detroit, places like that. The Klan believed that a true American was a wasp. Remember that white Anglo-Saxon. Anglo-Saxon means what? That your ancestry is from where? England. Protestant means that you're Christian, but you're not what? Starts with a C. You're not Catholic, okay? So they're against immigrants from everywhere. They're against Catholics, they're against Jews, they're against Black people. So they really expanded their groups that they're against. Like if you look at this, the Klansmen, remember they are a secret organization wearing their hoods, representing the ghost of the Confederacy. Who is he sitting on? Huh? You see this? A priest, okay? This Catholic priest, and that if you're a true American, you would never believe in this, all right? But look at this March on Washington. This is massive. I want you to notice the picture. Hey, group after group after group has marched on Washington. Women march on Washington. Women this weekend marched on Washington, okay? But what do you notice about this picture? You see? What do you see? You actually see their what? Their faces, okay? This is how bold this movement becomes, that they're not even willing to like hide who they are. Women are part of the organization. Isn't that creepy? Like just to see these people marching and like what they represent. You can see the Klan is a nationwide phenomenon. I am so glad that Mississippi in this map doesn't have a blue circle, a green triangle, or a red splurge, okay? However, you can see governors elected, senators elected because of the support of the Klan, and that is terrifying, okay? I mean, look at these dates, like Robert Byrd was elected in 2010. He'll say, like, now he doesn't believe in the Klan. Well, of course he's going to say that because they'll lose him votes, all right? The Klan will decline in the 30s, but here's the deal. Does the Klan still exist today?
Yes.
Yes, I think last year they had a meeting, like part of the Mississippi Klan had a meeting at the Hernando Square, all right? Is that legal? It is legal because we have what beliefs in America, what freedoms in America. Like the First Amendment, you have the freedom of what? Speech, but also the right to assemble, the right to protest, and for however much we are against them, that is their freedom, which is sort of like vomitous, okay? But it is American. But I mean, look at this. They're like raping people and killing people, and they get too bloody, and it does lead to getting rid of the Klan. Hey, all right, let's keep going. Harding will be elected in 1920, and he is all about returning to normalcy. Okay, after World War I, going back to normal. His cabinet is called the Ohio Gang, and he's got some guys, he was from Ohio, he put some guys from Ohio that are kind of scandalous. They would have these like meetings at the shack instead of at the White House. Doesn't that seem weird? Yeah. But especially the Teapot Dome scandal. The stars next to this, okay? Teapot Dome is in Wyoming, and Harding will profit off of this. They sold the land, okay, that was supposed to be what? Take a guess. It's supposed to be federal conserved land, and it's leased it to get oil off of it. The old oil company is going to give some kickbacks, okay, some bribes to some leaders, and it becomes this scandal under Harding's presidency. Albert Fall, even though multiple people took money, Albert Fall becomes the fall guy, okay, and he does serve a little bit of time in prison, but Harding will pardon him because of what he did in the scandal. Hey, what's a pardon? Yeah, okay. Who can give pardons? Is it just a president? Who else can give a pardon? Starts with a G. Governor. Okay, if you're in a state president. It's okay. There's some other guys. Hey, you need to know, Andrew Mellon comes up with an idea to take care of our war debt. So after World War I, we are in a ton of debt. We're kind of like a shaky economy. So he's got this plan. He's like, let's lower taxes and we'll bring in more money. Does that make sense? Why does that not make sense? Because the taxes are lower. So how do you get more money? Well, here's the deal. Here's what he says. History shows that if taxes are excessive, then they go unpaid. Okay? So if it's too much, people just aren't going to pay them. Like, look at this. Okay, this is in 2011. GE, y'all know the company GE?
Yep.
What do they make?
Like
Light bulbs and like dishwashers and all sorts of things. Okay, they made $14 billion and they paid what? No taxes because would it have been a lot? Yes. Okay, and they just didn't want to do it. Okay, there's this myth that he only cut taxes for the rich, but really he cuts taxes for everyone. And because he cut taxes for everyone, this is what happened. Okay, everybody look at this. His graphs get kind of weird, okay? Hey, look at this. The tax rate goes from 60% all the way down to less than 25%, okay? But the tax share does what? Goes up, and the taxes paid goes up. So even though the tax rate goes down, that's how much taxes are, did we make more money? Mm-hmm. Yes. Does everybody understand? Okay, because the less it was, the more people were paying, okay? So it helps our economy, at least at the time. All of a sudden, Harding has a heart attack. Okay, he dies. All right. How horrible. I'm terrified of having a heart attack. I don't know. It's just scary to me. Anyway, Calvin Coolidge comes in as our president. He'll finish out Harding's term. Hey, write this down for him. Laissez-faire. 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 Okay. He said, he who builds a factory builds a temple. He who works there worships there. Do you think he's a fan of business? Oh yeah, okay. He is all about, we are super prosperous, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Under him, he is known as Silent Cal. This man made a deal with his friend that he could get Coolidge to say more than 2 words. He told Coolidge this, and Coolidge says, "You lose," and that's the rest of what he said that whole night. And so, he just doesn't talk. He's super hands off. He doesn't do anything. His campaign was keep cool with Coolidge. It's how that term, that slang, cool, comes into our vocabulary. So if you use cool, and you're like, oh, that's cool. That is actually from his name. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, anyway, we'll be the last word. But yay for Coolidge, all right? He'll win his own term, and things get a little tricky when it comes to religion. Then let me ask you this. Do people care about religion? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes, they do. All right. Okay. So the Bible is the book of what religion? Christianity. Okay. And so you're going to have, I would really write this down. In the 20s, it's this thought of modernism, questioning traditional values. Okay. So people have been Christian in America and Christian in America and Christian in America. All right. Well, some people are going to start to believe in a couple of different things. So there's this thought that some people have that the Bible was 100% true, okay? And then some people are like, oh, but what if something isn't, all right? These people that believe that the Bible is true, they believe that God created Adam and Eve, that God created the world, all right? That is how time began on earth, all right? It's called the creation story. Hey, this painting is from where? You might know who painted this? This is God touching Adam. Yeah. Michelangelo painted this. It's on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Okay. Hey, so this guy comes along. His name is Charles Darwin. Okay, he's a scientist, and he believes in what? Evolution. Okay, and it is going to throw everything into chaos. All right. And so, what is evolution? We came from monkeys. Okay. And it's quite controversial. Is it controversial today? Yeah, look at this. For sure, I'll show you something that I'll show that for sure. It goes against special creation. It goes against the Bible. It goes against the Christian religion. And so he is really big in Europe. He's even, he's from England. He's even on the English pound, right? But in America, people are like, whoa, 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 Cheeto. Okay, that's what my child says. Whoa, whoa, Cheeto. All right. So the fundamentalists all right, believe that the Bible is inerrant. Hey, write this down. Inerrancy means no errors. Okay, that the Bible has no errors. But people that are modernists believe that, oh, well, the Bible probably does have some errors. Okay, so you have fundamentalist versus modernist. Hey, know this, fundamentalism is traditional values. Okay, traditional values, all right? Hey, so in Tennessee, this is where our history comes in. In Tennessee, they set up this law in the 20s that you could not teach evolution, that you had to teach the creation story in your biology class, that is how the world began, okay? In Tennessee, Bible Belt, all of that, okay? It's a misdemeanor if you're convicted for teaching evolution, okay? So this guy, John Scopes, is going to become a substitute, all right? He is very passionate about evolution, all right? And so he goes in as a substitute teacher. Hey, do your subs normally teach you? So, I don't know. He goes in and purposefully, all right, is going to teach about evolution in a biology class, all right? This is going to get him what? Arrested, okay? He's an infidel. Hey, what's an infidel? You're like a religious outlaw, okay? And so please know, the ACLU, you need to know this group, you need to know this group, you need to know this group. They still exist today. The American Civil Liberties Union actually got John Scopes to go in. They paid him to go teach about evolution. They wanted him to get arrested so they could take this trial all the way up to the Supreme Court, okay? And so Clarence Darrow is hired to represent John Scopes, okay? He is an agnostic. What does that mean? Well, he believes that there is a what? A God, but there's no personal relationship and that God is like this higher power, all right? Where William Jennings Bryan, have we talked about him? Yeah, we have. He was a populist. He believed in bimetallism. Do you remember that? He's a fundamentalist that believes you have to believe in who? The believer in God. You have to believe in who? Starts with the J. Jesus, okay? And believes the Bible is inerrant, all right? At the end of this trial, okay, they're going to, go hard and heavy, like for a whole year, so hard and heavy that at the end of the trial, William Jennings Bryan has a stroke and then a heart attack, and he dies 2 days after he wins the trial. And so Scopes is found guilty initially in Tennessee. They take it up to court, and eventually they overturn the guilty ruling. Hey, here's what you need to know, is that now today, instead of religion being taught in public schools, okay, you're taught evolution in your biology class, right? Yeah, okay. And it's because people are questioning those traditional values, okay, and these modernist beliefs are coming up, all right? It's called the Scopes monkey trial. Make sure you know it, make sure you know it, make sure you know it, okay? It is a continuing controversy. Okay, so this is the question. Human beings, as we know them, developed from earlier species of animals, okay? Hey, the blue means that people believe it's true, the purple, not sure, the green is false. So like in Iceland and Denmark and Sweden, they all believe that this statement is true, but look at the United States. Do you see how split the United States is? Okay, how much more fundamentalist people in the United States are. All right, we got like one more little topic real quick. Hey, remember, World War I, 18th Amendment comes in, and we got to get rid of all the what? Alcohol, okay? This group, hey, please know this, the FBI is created to make sure that alcohol is gone, all right? Hey, what does the FBI stand for? Yes, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Originally, it's the Bureau of Prohibition. Isn't that interesting? Okay, and they're dumping out and dumping out and dumping out all of the alcohol. Of course, people love alcohol and they're drinking it anywhere that they can. They're sneaking it in. Okay, they're called bootleggers. These places called speakeasies are what? Anybody know? Yeah, so like you think you're walking into a library, but if you know the password or the secret handshake, you can get into the secret bar, this underground bar, or maybe this bar in the attic, and have all of the alcohol and do all of the things that you want to do, okay? These are pretty much in all your big cities. A big-time bootlegger, Al Capone, he'll really bring in organized crime. Hey, I would know this. He brings in gangs, okay? So Al Capone, is going to bring in as much alcohol into what city as possible? Chicago, all right? Of course, some people wanted to bring in more alcohol than he did. And so you have these territorial wars between Capone's gang, all right, between people like Bugsy Malone's gang. They end up killing each other. Capone, I think, kills like over 100 people. Is he ever caught for murder?
No.
Is he ever caught for bringing in all this alcohol? No, and the FBI is like chasing him, chasing him, chasing him, chasing him. Finally, they capture him, and with what charges? Renee? He didn't pay something. Tax evasion, all right? And so they capture him like that. They send him to a prison in New York. In New York, his gang was able to sneak in like all this stuff, like all this food and alcohol, this furniture into his cell. So it was like this like hotel room instead of a jail cell. So they take him and they send him where to prison? Alcatraz, okay, it's this horrible prison off the coast of San Francisco. It has since been shut down. While he's there, okay, something that has been brewing in him actually like makes him start shutting down. Anybody know if he had? No. He had syphilis. Anybody know what syphilis is? It's an STD, okay, that does what to you? It eats away at your brain. It makes you pretty much like a preschooler. And so while he's in prison, he loses all of his friends. He was married. He ends up being like a 6-year-old, acting like a 6-year-old. They send him back home to Florida. He has like flashbacks all the time, pretty much goes crazy and dies alone. It's kind of sad. Alcohol. But the deal is prohibition going to work? Is it going to end all of the abuse? Is it going to make husbands better husbands? Probably not. And so in the Great Depression, which we'll talk about tomorrow, the 18th Amendment will be repealed. The deal is, the bigger reason why the 21st Amendment comes in is because the U.S. lost money on what for alcohol? Taxes. Okay, they couldn't tax the alcohol, and so they're going to bring the 21st Amendment in. Hey, that is my part of the 20s. All that's left is your part of the 20s. The women and the cars and the radios and the movies and all that stuff. We're going to present that on Wednesday. So you have the rest of class today. Use your class time. You got like 40, 45 minutes. It's a ton of time, okay? Hey, everybody listen. If you're making a slide, I need to see both of you. Hey, y'all listen. I need to see both of you in the Google slide, okay? If you're making a poster, hopefully you can show me what you worked on, but you're going to have to tell me what you did on this project, all right? So make sure you do something, okay? So don't just sit there and not do anything. Don't just sit there and take over everything, all right? Use your time wisely. We will listen to some 20s music as long as I can stand it. Sometimes it gets me down. I don't know why. Like, I don't think I can listen anymore. But anybody have any questions about the 20s projects? Okay, go.
Okay, so.
Okay, I will be here, so I will work on it.
Sure.
Because I check out after the block, so I can.
Here's the thing.
Hey, y'all let me know if you have any questions about the 20s project. I hope you all have a great Monday. Okay, see you soon.
You have like.